Admiral Tay stood by the big window of the spaceship Eternal Glory. His old face showed in the thick glass as he looked at the small blue planet below. Earth was finally close enough to visit. The Empire had talked for many years about whether to meet this faraway world. Now they had decided. They needed more resources, and Earth had plenty that they could use. "Admiral, the greeting team is ready to leave," said Commander Han. He stood straight and tall as he gave his report. "Good. Remember what we must do. Make a peaceful first meeting. These humans cannot travel between stars yet, but our spies tell us they can adapt to new things very well. We must be careful," said Tay in a calm but firm voice. The Empire always did things the same way when meeting new planets. Send a team to talk, set up communication, and make deals to take resources. Many civilizations had joined the Empire this way over thousands of years. They thought Earth would be no different. But Commander Han was worried. "Admiral, may I speak openly? We have seen strange defense systems on Earth. Their army leaders don't always wear uniforms. Many of their most powerful leaders wear what they call business suits, special clothes that don't help in fighting." Tay waved his hand to dismiss this concern. "Just strange customs. All species have them. Maybe it's just for show." "There's more, sir. Their history shows that people in these suits have caused more deaths through money decisions and company rules than many of their wars. That's interesting, Commander, but not important for our mission. Get the small ship ready." The sleek meeting ship left the mothership and flew down toward Earth's air. Neither Tay nor Han knew what was waiting for them. The Empire had taken over warrior races and amazing tech worlds across the galaxy, but they had never met a species that had turned office work, money systems, and company structure into weapons like humans had. Earth's answer to their arrival would soon show them why the most dangerous humans wore business suits. "Sir, we are entering Earth's airspace now," the pilot told Admiral Tay. "Their tracking systems have found us." Tay nodded. This was expected. Even simple planets could usually see ships entering their skies. "Any response from their leaders?" "Yes, sir. We're getting a message. It's in their global language called English. The translation computer is working on it now." Commander Han joined Tay at the control panel. "Are they afraid? Have they sent military ships?" The communication officer looked confused. "No, sir. They're inviting us to land. They've sent coordinates for a place called Seoul and say representatives will meet us there." Tay raised an eyebrow. "This is unusual. Most first contact species either panic or prepare for war." "Maybe our information about their development level was wrong," suggested Han. "Perhaps they've seen other aliens before." "Impossible," said Tay firmly. "Our scouts have watched Earth for 50 years. They have no star travel technology and have never been visited by any Empire ships." The small meeting ship broke through white clouds, and the crew got their first close look at Earth. Below them stretched a vast city of tall buildings, flashing lights, and organized roads filled with ground vehicles. It was impressive for a planet that had not yet joined the galactic community. "Land at the coordinates they provided," ordered Tay. "Keep defense shields up but weapons powered down. We want to look peaceful but not weak." As the ship descended toward a large flat area, on top of a very tall glass building, Tay noticed something strange. There were no army vehicles waiting. No big weapons pointed at them. Just a small group of humans standing in a neat line, wearing dark matching clothes. "Those must be the business suits you mentioned," Tay said to Han. "They don't look very dangerous." Commander Han frowned. "That's what makes them dangerous, sir. They don't need to look threatening." When the ship touched down, Tay organized his team. "Remember, we represent the Galactic Empire. Show strength but also respect. Our goal is to establish first contact and begin resource negotiations." The ship door opened with a soft hiss, extending a walking path to the roof. Admiral Tay led his team of 5 representatives out into Earth's air for the first time. It smelled strange, full of chemicals and artificial scents. The humans stood calmly watching them. A man in the center stepped forward. He was shorter than Tay expected, with dark hair and a face that showed no fear. "Welcome to Earth. the man said in perfect Empire language, surprising all the visitors. I am Director Kang of Global Unified Technologies. We've been expecting you. Tay tried to hide his shock. How did this human know their language? The Empire had not shared any communication data with Earth. I am Admiral Tay of the Galactic Empire, he replied formally. We come in peace to establish relations with your world. Director Kang smiled slightly. Yes, of course you do. And to discuss our planet's resources, no doubt. We are prepared for these talks. Commander Han stepped slightly closer to Tay and whispered, Sir, this is not normal. They know too much. Director Kang continued as if he hadn't noticed their confusion. We've prepared meeting rooms in our building. My colleagues and I represent Earth's combined business interests. We thought it would be more efficient than dealing with the hundreds of governments on our planet. Tay had studied Earth's political systems. He knew the planet was divided into many countries, each with its own rules. He had expected to meet with a world organization called the United Nations, not business people. We would prefer to meet with your global government representatives, Tay said carefully. Director Kang's smile grew wider. In time, Admiral, but on Earth you'll find that business often moves faster than government, and we control most of the resources you're interested in anyway. As they were led into the tall glass building, Tay noticed the other humans all carried small electronic devices and folders full of papers. None had weapons, yet they walked with the confidence of people who held all the power. I don't like this, muttered Han. It feels like a trap. Not a trap, Tay replied quietly. A negotiation, but one they were fully prepared for while we are not. The humans led them into a large room with a long table and comfortable chairs. On the wall was a screen showing a detailed map of Empire, territory, information that should have been impossible for Earth to have. Please make yourselves comfortable, said Director Kang, gesturing to the chairs. We have much to discuss about our future partnership. Tay sat down, suddenly feeling that his 300 years of military experience had not prepared him for this meeting. The Empire had conquered 1,000 worlds, but none of them had greeted the conquerors with smiles, perfect language translation, and advanced knowledge of their plans. As Director Kang's team passed out folders labeled Preliminary Resource Sharing Agreement, Tay understood what Commander Han had been trying to tell him. On Earth, the most dangerous weapon wasn't a gun or a bomb. It was a business suit and a contract. Admiral Tay sat at the big table in the meeting room, trying to look calm. The Empire had met thousands of new species, but none had ever been so ready for them. None had papers and plans already made before the first hello. Lieutenant Jin, the team's language expert, sat next to Commander Han. Jin had studied Earth languages for years but never expected humans would already know how to speak the Empire's language. Where would you like to begin, Admiral? Asked Director Kang. His voice was friendly, but his eyes were cold like space. Perhaps with why your ships have been watching our planet for 50 years. Tay felt his skin grow hot. How did they know that? The Empire's spy ships were the best in the galaxy. No pre-space travel world had ever spotted them before. We observe many developing worlds, Tay said carefully. It is standard procedure. The woman in the dark suit smiled. She had not spoken yet. Her name tag said Vice President Park. Standard procedure before invasion, you mean? She said. Her voice was soft, but her words were sharp. Not invasion, corrected Tay quickly. The Empire offers protection and guidance to less advanced worlds, in exchange for some resources of course. Kang and Park looked at each other. They seemed almost amused. Let's be clear, said Kang, placing his hands flat on the table. We know the Empire has taken over 1,247 planets in the last 300 years. We know your ships carry weapons that could destroy our cities. And we know you need our minerals, water, and biological materials. Commander Han's mouth fell open. This was top-secret information. Even most Empire citizens didn't know the exact number of conquered planets. How could you possibly know this? Han asked. Vice President Park opened a small computer and turned it to face the aliens. On the screen was a map of Empire space with all major military bases marked. You're not the only ones who can spy, she said. We've been listening to your communications for 20 years. Your encryption is good, but not good enough. Tay felt cold fear for the first time in many years. If Earth could break Empire codes, what else could they do? Now, continued Kang, pushing a thick folder toward each alien visitor. Let's talk about what you really came for. Resources. Tay opened the folder slowly. Inside were papers in perfect Empire writing. The first page said, Resource Sharing. Agreement. These documents outline what we're willing to share and what we expect in return, explained Kang. You'll find it very detailed. Lieutenant Jin began reading quickly. His eyes grew wider with each page. Sir, he whispered to Tay, this is unbelievable. They know the exact materials we need, and they've set prices 10 times higher than we. Pay other worlds. Tay turned to page 23 and felt his heart beat faster. There was a list of Empire technologies that Earth wanted in exchange for their resources. Many were military secrets. These terms are impossible, said Tay, closing the folder with a snap. The Empire does not share military technology with new members. Director Kang didn't seem upset. He just nodded as if he expected this answer. Maybe, impossible is too strong a word, Admiral, he said. Let's just say these are our starting positions for negotiation. Vice President Park tapped something on her computer. The large screen on the wall changed to show a different star system. This is the Proxima Centauri system, she said. The closest star to Earth. We've already built a small base there. Would you like to see it? The aliens stared in shock. Earth ships in another star system? It shouldn't be possible. You're bluffing, said Commander Han. Your technology can't travel that far. Park smiled again. 5 years ago you would have been right, but we've made some quick progress. She tapped another button. The screen showed a small space station orbiting a red planet. The station had Earth writing on its side. How? Asked Tay simply. We found one of your scout ships, explained Kang. It crashed in what you call the Pacific Ocean 70 years ago. No survivors, unfortunately, but the technology was mostly intact. Tay and Han exchanged worried looks. There was no record of a lost scout ship near Earth. If humans had Empire, technology for 70 years, what else had they learned? A new person entered the room. He was taller than the other humans and wore glasses. He carried a stack of papers and placed them in front of Kang. Ah, perfect timing, said Kang. Admiral, this is Director Sung, our Chief of Technology. He has prepared a demonstration that might interest you. Sung nodded politely to the aliens but didn't speak. He passed small devices to Kang and Park. This is a translator, explained Kang, holding up the small silver object. It can learn any language after hearing just a few sentences. We developed it last year based on technology we found in the crashed ship. Tay tried to hide his surprise. The Empire had similar translators, but they were not as advanced as what Kang described. Impressive, said Tay carefully. But one piece of technology doesn't make Earth equal to the Empire. Of course not, agreed Kang. We're not equal. Earth is just one planet, while the Empire has thousands. But we do have some advantages. Like, what? Asked Commander Han, sounding doubtful. Speed, said Park. Your Empire makes decisions slowly. Committees, councils, votes. Earth corporations move much faster. Creativity, added Kang. You've been using the same technologies for centuries with small improvements. We make big changes quickly. And unity and diversity, said Sung, speaking for the first time. The Empire forces all planets to follow the same rules. Earth has thousands of different cultures and ways of thinking. More ideas mean better solutions. Tay noticed something strange. Though these humans were clearly trying to impress the Empire, they didn't seem afraid. Most new species met by the Empire were either terrified or angry. These humans were confident. Let's take a break, suggested Kang, standing up. We've prepared rooms for you to rest and discuss among yourselves. We can continue in 2 hours. As the Empire team was led out of the meeting room, Lieutenant Jin moved close to Admiral Tay. Sir, he whispered, I think we're in trouble. They know too much about us, and we know too little about them. Tay nodded slowly. I'm beginning to understand what's happening. These aren't just business people. This is their way of fighting. Without weapons, added Commander Han, they're trying to defeat us with papers and talks. The question is, said Tay quietly, can they succeed? The three aliens followed their human guide down a long hallway with glass walls. Through the windows, they could see the huge city spreading in all directions. Millions of humans, thousands of tall buildings, and countless vehicles moving in complex patterns. Look how organized they are, said Jin. Their city is like a giant machine. Yes, agreed Tay. And I think we just met the people who control the machine. As they entered their private meeting room, Tay turned to his officers with a serious face. We need to learn everything we can about these business people, he said. The Empire has never faced an enemy like this before. Commander Han looked out the window at the busy city. Do you think they're really enemies, sir? They haven't threatened us. No, said Tay thoughtfully. But they've shown us they know our plans. They have our technology and they aren't afraid of us. That makes them dangerous even without weapons. Meanwhile, in another room, Director Kang, Vice President Park, and Director Sung watched the aliens on camera screens. What do you think? Asked Park. Did we impress them enough? Yes, said Kang with a small smile. They're worried now. They came expecting to find simple humans to conquer. Instead, they found equals. They don't know we were bluffing about some things, said Sung. We don't really have a base at Proxima Centauri. But they can't be sure of that, replied Kang. And doubt is a powerful weapon in negotiations. Park looked at her watch. 2 hours until round 2. Let's prepare our next surprise. 2 hours later, Admiral Tay and his team returned to the big meeting room. They had spent their break time talking about what to do. They had 3 choices. Leave Earth and tell the Empire it was too much trouble, try to scare the humans with their big ships, or keep talking and see what deal they could get. We've made a decision, Tay told Director Kang as they sat down. We will continue our talks, but we need to be clear. Earth cannot be equal to the Empire. You have 1 planet. We have thousands. Kang nodded, his face serious. We understand. We don't expect to be equal partners, but we do expect fair treatment. Vice President Park opened a new folder. Let's talk about what fair means to both sides. For the next hour, they talked about resources. The Empire wanted metals, water, and plants from Earth. The humans wanted to keep most of their resources and get space technology in return. Lieutenant Jin was surprised. The humans were tough but not crazy in what they asked for. Their new offers were much more reasonable than the first ones. This is strange, Jin whispered to Commander Han. They're giving up too easily. Han frowned. It's a trick. Watch carefully. Director Kang pushed another paper to Tay. We agree to give you mining rights in these areas, he said, pointing to a map. But we want something in return. What? Asked Tay. Education, said Kang simply. We want 500 of our best students to attend Empire schools each year, to learn about space, new planets, and advanced science. Tay thought about this. It seemed like a small thing to ask for. Many Empire worlds sent students to the big schools. But something felt wrong. Why not ask for the technology directly? Tay asked. Kang smiled. We believe in learning, not just having. If our young people learn from you, they can build their own technology that fits Earth's needs. The door opened and a young woman in a dark suit came in. She handed a paper to Vice President Park, who read it quickly. Excuse me, Park said. I need to leave for a short time. Please continue. When Park left, Director Sung took her place at the table. He had more papers with him. While we're waiting, Sung said, let's talk about something else. We've been watching how your ships work. We have some ideas to make them better. Now this was truly surprising. Earth people thought they could improve Empire ships, ships that had been made better over thousands of years. That's unlikely, said Commander Han. Sung pushed a drawing across the table. Your ships use a lot of energy to travel between stars. We think we can make them use 30% less. Tay looked at the drawing. It showed a new way to build the power center of a spaceship. It was different from what the Empire used, but the math seemed right. How could humans think of this so quickly? Our scientists have been studying the crashed ship, Sung explained, seeing Tay's confused face. We found weaknesses in the design. Interesting, said Tay, trying to sound calm. But it would cost too much to change all our ships. Not if the new design saves energy, said Sung. You would get back all the money in 3 years. After that, you save money forever. This was why business people were dangerous, Tay thought. They didn't think like soldiers or leaders. They thought about money and long-term plans. Vice President Park returned to the room. She looked excited. Sorry for the break, she said. We just got some important news. Our deep space listening post picked up signals from another alien group. They're called the Andromeda Coalition. Tay felt his blood turn cold. The Andromeda Coalition was the Empire's biggest enemy. They had fought 3 wars against them. That's impossible, said Commander Han. The Coalition is on the other side of our galaxy. They can't reach Earth. Park showed them a paper with strange markings. These are the signals we received. Our computers say they match Coalition patterns with 97% certainty. Tai and Han looked at each other. This was very bad news. If the Coalition reached Earth first, they might get a base right next to Empire space. Have you answered them? Tay asked quickly. Not yet, said Kang. We wanted to finish our talks with you first. Now Tay understood the humans' plan. They were playing the Empire against its enemy. If the Empire didn't give humans what they wanted, they might make a deal with the Coalition instead. I need to talk to my leaders, said Tay. This changes things. Of course, said Kang. We can take a day break. Talk to your leaders. But remember, we can only wait so long before we need to answer the other signal. Tay and his team left the building and went back to their ship. As soon as they were alone, Tay turned to his officers. They're lying, he said firmly. There's no way the Coalition could reach this far without us knowing. But what if they're telling the truth? Asked Jin. We can't take the chance. It's a business trick, said Han. They're making us think we have competition, so we'll accept a worse deal. Tay walked to the ship's communication room. I need to talk to the Emperor. This is getting too complicated. While Tay prepared to call the Empire's leader, Jin worked on the computer, looking through Earth information. Sir, Jin called after an hour. I found something interesting about Earth business people. Han and Tay came to look at Jin's screen. They have schools just for business, Jin explained. Places where they learn how to make deals, how to lie, without saying untrue things, and how to make the other side feel pressured. Schools for trickery? Asked Han. They call it negotiation strategy and competitive advantage, said Jin, and the most successful business people use these skills every day. Tay looked out the window at the city lights. It was getting dark. So Earth's leaders aren't soldiers who learn to fight with weapons, he said slowly. They're business people who learn to fight with words and papers and information, added Jin. They gather it, control it, and use it like a weapon. Can we beat them at this game? Asked Han. Tay thought for a long time before answering. I don't know, but we need to try. The Empire can't let Earth join with the Coalition even if the humans are bluffing about the signals. Jin looked worried. What will you tell the Emperor? The truth, said Tay, that we found a world where the most dangerous people don't carry weapons. They carry briefcases. Back in the Global Unified Technologies building, Kang, Park, and Sung were having drinks in a private room. Do you think they believed the Coalition story? Asked Sung. Not completely, said Park, but it doesn't matter. They can't be sure it's a lie. Kang looked at the city through the big windows. For thousands of years, the Empire has been the biggest power in space. They're not used to being challenged. What will they do next? Asked Sung. They'll talk to their Emperor, said Kang, and then they'll try to scare us or trick us or both. And we'll be ready, said Park with a smile. She raised her glass. To Earth business. The greatest power the Empire has never seen before. Sung and Kang raised their glasses too. To business, they said together. Emperor Ji's face looked angry on the big screen. His eyes were narrow and his mouth was tight as he listened to Admiral Tay's report. Let me understand this clearly, the Emperor said. These humans who have not even left their own star system are making demands of the Empire? Yes, Your Majesty, said Tay. He stood straight and tall in the ship's communication room. Commander Han and Lieutenant Jin stood behind him. But it's more complicated than that. Explain, ordered the Emperor. Tay took a deep breath. The humans know things they shouldn't know. They have information about our ships, our plans, and our past actions. They say they found one of our crashed ships and learned from it. Impossible, said the Emperor. We have no record of lost ships near Earth. I agree, sir, but they have detailed knowledge that's hard to explain otherwise. Han stepped forward. Your Majesty, they also claim to have received signals from the Andromeda Coalition. The Emperor's face changed from angry to worried. That cannot be true. The Coalition is too far away. We think they're lying about that, said Tay. But we can't be completely sure. And if there's even a small chance they're telling the truth, we can't risk it, finished the Emperor. He looked down, thinking hard. The Coalition having a base so close to our space would be very dangerous. Jin spoke up for the first time. Your Majesty, we've learned something important about these humans. They have a special kind of leader we haven't seen before. What kind? Business leaders, explained Jin. They don't control with weapons or laws. They control with money and deals, and they're very good at it. The Emperor was quiet for a long time. Then he asked, what are our options? Tay had been thinking about this question all night. We have 3 choices, Your Majesty. First, we can leave Earth alone and come back with more ships later, and risk the Coalition getting there. First, no. Second, we can show our power, put our big ships in the sky above their cities, scare them into making a deal. The Emperor nodded. That has worked many times before. But, said Han, if the humans aren't afraid of us, we would have to actually attack them, and they might destroy their own resources rather than let us take them. The third choice, Yin asked the Emperor. We continue to talk, said Tay. Try to make a deal that gives us some of what we want, even if it's not everything. The Emperor did not look happy with any of these choices. The Empire was not used to making deals. It was used to taking what it wanted. There might be a fourth choice, said Jin suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. Jin was the youngest and lowest rank of the 3. He did not usually speak up like this. What fourth choice? Asked the Emperor. We could learn from them, said Jin. The humans have found a new way to get power, not with weapons but with business. If it works so well on Earth, maybe it could work for the Empire too. Tay and Han looked surprised. The Emperor's face was hard to read. Interesting, said the Emperor finally. You suggest we adopt their methods? Not completely, said Jin quickly. But we could add some of their ideas to our own ways. The Empire has always been strong because it can change and grow. The Emperor thought about this. Continue your talks with the humans, he said at last. Try to make a deal that gives us access to Earth's resources, but also learn everything you can about their business methods. This may be more valuable than any minerals they have. The screen went dark. The Emperor was gone. That was brave, Tay told Jin, speaking to the Emperor like that. Jin looked down. I was scared, but I think it's important. These humans have found a new kind of power. We should understand it. Han nodded. I agree. And now we have new orders. We need to make a deal and learn their methods. Tay looked out the window at the city of Seoul. The sun was rising. It would be time to meet the humans again soon. Let's get ready, he said. Today we stop fighting their method and start using it ourselves. When they arrived at the Global Unified Technologies building, Tay was surprised to find only Director Kang waiting for them. Where are the others? Tay asked. They'll join us later, said Kang. I thought we might have a more open conversation first, just the 2 of us. Tay told Han and Jin to wait outside. When they were alone, Kang offered Tay a drink. a dark liquid in a small glass. It's called coffee, Kang explained. Most business on Earth runs on it. Tay sipped the bitter drink. Director Kang, I want to be direct. We know you're probably bluffing about the coalition signals. Kang's face didn't change. Do you? Are you willing to take that chance? What I'm trying to say, continued Tay, is that I respect your strategy. You're using every tool you have to protect your planet's interests. Now Kang looked surprised. Thank you, Admiral. That's exactly what we're doing. The Empire has sent me new instructions, said Tay. We're ready to make a real deal. Not the kind where one side wins and one side loses, but the kind where both sides get something they want. Kang sipped his coffee, watching Tay carefully. That's good to hear, but why the change? Because we recognize a strong opponent when we see one, said Tay honestly, and because I think we can learn from each other. For the first time, Kang's smile seemed real. Now we're talking the same language, Admiral. The door opened and Vice President Park came in, followed by two new people Tay hadn't seen before. Admiral, meet Chief Legal Officer Lee and Chief Financial Officer Kim, said Kang. They'll help us make this deal work for both sides. Lee was a short woman with smart eyes. Kim was an older man with gray hair and a serious face. Both wore the same dark business suits. Before we begin, said Lee, opening her computer, we need to address the legal framework for our agreement, and the financial implications, added Kim, putting papers on the table. Tay realized the humans were still using their business tactics, but now, instead of fighting against them, he would try to understand them. Please explain how this works, said Tay. In the Empire, we don't usually use such detailed agreements. Lee looked surprised but pleased. Well, Admiral, a good agreement protects both parties. It clearly states what each side will do when they'll do it, and what happens if they don't. For the next 2 hours, Tay listened and learned. The humans explained contracts, risk management, return on investment, and many other business ideas. Some seemed complicated, but the core ideas made sense. Han and Jin joined them later, and together the Empire team began to see how Earth's business methods might be useful to the Empire. You know, said Tay during a break, in the Empire, when we take resources from a planet, we just take them. We never thought about making it a fair exchange that helps both sides. That's because you think only about the short term, said Kim. In business, we think about long relationships. If both sides benefit, the deal can last for many years. Tay nodded slowly. I'm beginning to understand why your business leaders are so powerful on Earth. You've found a different kind of strength. Not better or worse than military strength, said Kang. Just different, and often it lets us get what we want without fighting. As the sun set outside the big windows, Tay realized they had the outline of a real agreement. The Empire would get some of Earth's resources and help humans develop better space travel. In return, Earth would keep its independence and share some of its business knowledge with the Empire. I think the Emperor will accept this, said Tay. It's not what we planned, but it might be better in the long run. That's the goal of good business, said Kang, finding solutions that last. When they left the building that night, Commander, Han asked, Did we win or lose, sir? Tay thought about it. Neither, or maybe both. We didn't get everything we wanted, but we got something new that might be more valuable. What's that? Asked Jin. A new way of thinking, said Tay, and the start of a different kind of empire. 1 year later, Admiral Tay stood in the observation deck of the newly christened headquarters of Galactic Resource Innovations and Partnership, GRIP, a joint venture between the Empire and Earth's corporate alliance. The gleaming structure orbited Earth, symbolizing the unprecedented arrangement that had emerged from months of intense negotiation. Remarkable, isn't it? Came a voice behind him. Director Kang approached, impeccable as always in his tailored suit. A year ago, our civilizations were poised for conflict. Now we're business partners. Tay nodded stiffly. Partnership wasn't exactly how the Empire would have described it, but it was the term they'd agreed upon in the official documentation. The reality was more complex. The Empire had gained access to Earth's resources, but on terms that would have been unimaginable before: revenue sharing, technology exchange, and most troublingly, corporate governance structures that gave humans significant input in Imperial operations. Our first shipments of rare earth minerals will be departing for your core worlds next week, Kang continued conversationally. And I understand our management consultants have been well received at Imperial headquarters. That was a diplomatic understatement. The management consultants and the humans in business suits who had been dispatched to the Imperial capital had caused more disruption than a fleet of warships. They spoke of optimizing workflows and streamlining hierarchical communication structures and implementing performance metrics. The Emperor himself had been subjected to something called a 360-degree leadership evaluation. Yes, they've been influential, Tay admitted, though I'm still not convinced that quarterly shareholder meetings are necessary for a galactic empire. Kang smiled. Accountability to stakeholders is the foundation of sustainable growth, Admiral. Speaking of which, our board meeting is about to begin. The GRIP boardroom represented the new reality perfectly. Around the table sat Imperial military leaders alongside Earth's corporate executives. Commander Han, now serving as Chief Operations Officer, was reviewing reports with CFO Kim. Lieutenant Jin had been appointed as Director of Cultural Integration and was deep in conversation with other board members. Emperor Ji's hologram appeared at the head of the table alongside Director Kang. The symbolism of equal positioning was not lost on anyone present. Let us commence the quarterly review, the Emperor announced, having adapted surprisingly well to corporate protocols. I believe the first agenda item is the expansion proposal for the Orion sector. What followed was a demonstration of why Earth's corporate methodology had proven so effective. The humans presented growth projections, risk assessments, and resource allocation models that made traditional Imperial conquest seem wasteful by comparison. Their approach to galactic expansion wasn't about subjugation, but market penetration. Not about destroying opposition, but converting them into consumers and partners. After the meeting, Admiral Tay found himself alone with Commander Han on the observation deck. Did we win or lose, Commander? Tay asked quietly, gazing at the stars. Sometimes I can't tell anymore. Han considered the question carefully. Neither, sir. I think we evolved. The Empire has existed for 3 millennia, but in 1 year these humans have changed us more than the previous 1,000 years combined. Because their killers wear business suits, Tay murmured, recalling their early observations. Yes, but I understand it better now, Han replied. Their business suits aren't armor, they're symbols. They represent a kind of power that doesn't need physical force to be effective. The humans conquered us without firing a shot, but they also gave us a new way to conquer. As if on cue, a small fleet of ships appeared, returning from a diplomatic mission to a previously resistant star system. The mission had been led not by Imperial commanders, but by a team of Earth negotiators. The reports indicated that the system had agreed to join GRIP's expanding influence sphere, a development that would have required a decade of military campaigns under the old Imperial approach. The Empire is changing, Tay acknowledged. And perhaps that isn't entirely a bad thing. In the corporate headquarters of GRIP, humans and Imperials worked side by side, expanding their influence across the galaxy. The Empire had indeed found out why Earth's most effective killers wore business suits, because they had perfected the art of conquest without destruction, domination without resistance, and victory without victims. And in that discovery, both civilizations had found a path to something neither had anticipated: a genuine partnership.